The battle for Ukraine's farmers to keep the world fed. Known as Europe's breadbasket, Ukraine is one of the world's largest exporters of grain, and Russia's invasion attacks are already spiking global food prices. So ABC News Live anchor Terry Moran traveled to the heart of Ukraine to talk to the farmers who are desperately trying to keep their crops going as war rages all around them.
As the war in Ukraine grinds on and the human toll mounts, there is another humanitarian disaster looming, a global food crisis. Food prices around the world are already rising at the fastest pace in history, and it could get worse. The USDA is now predicting that Americans will pay between 4.5% and 5.5% more for food this year. Every day the war lasts, world food supplies are damaged. Because Ukraine is an agricultural powerhouse, a top 10 exporter of wheat, corn, soybeans, barley, sunflower oil, and poultry. Russia is an even bigger player in global agriculture. So with the war in Ukraine and the punishing sanctions on Russia combined, almost all that food could be gone from world markets this year, driving up prices and threatening hunger in many countries that depend on the food grown here. At the NATO summit last month, President Biden warned of the coming crisis.
Yes, we did talk about food shortages, and it's going to be real.
So what happens here on Ukraine's farms in the coming months will be crucial.
They're planting sugar beets in this field. The planting season then, it's corn, it's soybeans, sunflowers, and wheat. But the question is, will they be able, with the war, to grow it, harvest it, get it to market, and to the global markets, so dependent on what they do here.
We traveled from our base in the city of Lviv in western Ukraine, 300 miles into Ukraine's heartland and the town of Kryzhyopil to see how farmers are coping. Mile after mile, we drove through Ukraine's seemingly endless fields and farms. 70% of this country is farmland, an area larger than the entire nation of Italy. The front lines are far away, but the war isn't. There are checkpoints all along the highways and even on back roads. A billboard in English on the outskirts of a city. Russia is killing our children. And in a tiny village, a scene from another era. 68-year-old Zina Borodai washing clothes in the river the old way, scrubbing them on the rocks. She tells us her grandson Maxim, whom she raised, is in the army, and she worries, of course.
How do you think this will end?
We just hope for peace, she says. Let us pray to God for peace. Not far away, we're back in the 21st century.
You are very high tech.
Andrei Kapritsa farms about 3,000 acres, corn, sunflowers, sugar beets. He's using satellites, sensors, and GPS to monitor and manage his fields. And like so many Ukrainian farmers, he is improvising and adjusting as fast as he can to the new reality of war. Andrei understood the war would drive up prices for seeds and fertilizers, so he bought early. And look at these old fuel tanks. Andrei's refurbishing them.
You just bought these tanks in order to have fuel because you know that the Russians are targeting the fuel supply here.
Yeah.
Fuel refineries and depots have been attacked by Russia across the country, and Ukrainian authorities believe it's not just for military purposes. Is Russia targeting Ukrainian agriculture in this war, and how, if so?
It does, and they do it in several directions.
Deputy Agriculture Minister Taras Vysotsky says Russia has struck at least 6 grain storage facilities, destroyed farm machinery, mined fields, and shelled countless others, like this one in eastern Ukraine. Near Zaporizhia, farmers are clearing artillery shells from their fields and driving tractors in body armor. But most damaging of all, Russia has blocked and bombed Ukraine's ports. 70% of Ukraine's exports and 99% of its corn exports are shipped from ports on the Black Sea, from Odessa to Mariupol. And those ports are all being blocked and attacked by Russia, none more savagely than Mariupol. Victoria Melnik's husband, Alexander, died defending Mariupol. He was so handsome, she tells us. He was a good man. I miss him so much. Victoria lives in a farm village. She's 21. Her baby boy, Marek, is 6 months old. Through tears, Victoria tells us Alexander's body remains in Mariupol, unable to be evacuated home because of the Russian siege. I just wish that no other mother, sister, wife, or daughter would ever experience this kind of grief, she says. And she adds, I want my son to grow up and know where his father's grave is. It's spring, a season of hope. But this year, as one farmer told us, these fields are the second front line. And this land, it's part of the soul of Ukraine. Alexander Sali farms a few acres organically at the edge of town.
You love this land.
Так.
Yes, he tells me.
Would you defend it if the Russians came here?
Ну, звісно, так.
I am not a military man, he says, but if they are going to take away our land, we will defend it. Then Alexander and his wife Ludmila and their kids Kirill and Anastasia, it's her 9th birthday today, ask us inside for some cake. And organic tea Ludmila brews from wildflowers just outside her door.
Nice to see you.
We say goodbye. This is what Ukrainians are fighting for. This land, their homeland.
Such widespread implications of this war. Our thanks to Terry Moran for that.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.